I'm getting an unstable internet message, just letting you know in case I pop out, I'll be popping back in.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good time to turn off your video too, Mendeley. So if you are getting that message, and you already did, so.
Yeah, as soon as I got it, I turned it off.
Yeah. So I am promoting, oop, nope, missed her. Somebody else got her.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us this afternoon for the CAEP Summit 2020 Presenter Tech Training. My name is Veronica Parker, coordinator with the CAEP Technical Assistance Project. And here with me today are the rest of the planning committee. So I have Polly Clark as well as Mandalay Comstock. And then we have our tech team, which includes Melinda Holt and Marjorie Olavides, and they are with OTAN. So it will be us today providing the training for you all. So it looks like we've gotten majority of you in the room. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen at this time and share an overview of what we will cover this afternoon. We have several different components that we'll be covering. So the first is I'll provide an overview of the CAEP Summit 2020, and then we'll go into an overview of the VFairs platform and how it works in the different areas that are important for you as presenters. Then we'll move into the technical components of presenting in Zoom webinar. And then our last segment of this training would be practice time for you all. So we want to make sure that your devices, your sound, etc., is compatible with the Zoom webinars platform, and then talk about any issues that may arise, etc. So that is what we will be covering this afternoon. So first, to get us started with an overview of the summit, as you all may know, the summit will take place on October 26th through October 29th. And on the first day, on the second day, throughout the entire process, we start at 8:30 a.m. each day. And then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sessions will end at 2:30 p.m. So each day will go from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And then on Tuesday, October 27th, we'll have our networking event from 2:30 p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. And the networking event will consist of designated Zoom rooms for attendees of different roles. So for example, we'll have a Zoom room dedicated for consortium leads and directors. We'll have a Zoom room dedicated for transition specialists, as well as counselors. We'll have a Zoom room set up for data personnel, a Zoom room set up for coordinators. So based on your role is where you will go for your networking event. And then we'll have, facilitators in there who will just be starting the conversation, but it will be based on what you all decide to discuss during that time. And so number of sessions, so we have 66 sessions that we will be running across all 4 days. And then we also have exhibitor sponsored lunch sessions and breaks. And for each session, so each session will be 90 minutes in length. And for each breakout session, there will be 6 concurrent sessions taking place at that time. So by now, everyone should have received, if you are a lead presenter, you should have received communication from us that went out yesterday that talks about when your session will take place, so the date and time of your session, as well as other pertinent details such as a link to a Google form where you will let us know how you plan to structure your session, if there are different webinar features that you plan to use, polls, etc. You letting us know what all of those different pieces of information are so that we make sure we set up your session properly and we prepare for anything that you may be presenting during that time. So if you are not a lead presenter, please check in. If you're a co-presenter, please check in with your lead presenter, as they were the ones who received this information and should be sharing it with you. And then we'll go over the schedule at a glance, but I kind of provided the highlight for you, which is we'll start each day at 8:30 a.m. and sessions will run through 2:30 p.m. And Tuesday, October 27th is our later day. We'll be done at 4 o'clock p.m. So I see the chat going off, and I'm going to stop sharing this outlines. I'm going to move to another document. So let me check the chat to see if
The
there-
chat's fine, Veronica. It's
Okay.
all good.
Thank you. So I'll move on to a PowerPoint, which will provide an overview of the VFAIR's platform. It's still under development. We're going through the final stages of development. So I just pulled some pictures that provides the context for you all as presenters. So this is the VFAIR's platform. Hopefully you all have accessed it at this time. You definitely should have accessed it as a presenter or co-presenter so that you can register for the summit. If you have not registered for the summit, definitely please register for the summit so that we can make sure that your session stays on the program. Any sessions that are not, any presenters, especially lead presenters who are not registered, will have to remove the session from the program. So please register. Registration is still open to date. I just checked not too long ago. We are at 750 registrants even. We are still accepting more registrants. So if you know of colleagues who have yet to register, definitely share the information with them so they can go ahead and register. Registration is still open and it will remain open until, I want to say we're closing it October 21st or 23rd, one of the two, but there's still time to register. So definitely feel free to register. This page, here's the URL of the VFAIR's platform. And on this page, we have an about section that just provides general context about the summit. So it talks about kind of the purpose of the summit. Our theme this year is supporting adult learners through unprecedented change. And a lot of the proposals that were received address this theme. So they talked about, kind of where we are in our experiences over the past 8 months with the pandemic, as well as the pivot to distance education, racial unrest, and the current state of the economy, amongst other topics. But we were very pleased that some of the proposals we received actually addressed the purpose of the summit. It also talks about who the summit is ideal for. So again, it's ideal for site administrators, consortium leads, coordinators, transition specialists, teachers. We even have, sessions that are relevant for them. So we have something for everyone. And then we have FAQs on this page, and those FAQs just address certain pieces of information such as the technology needed to access the platform, if there will be technical assistance provided throughout the course of the summit, which there will be around the clock technical assistance. We'll have a tech host in each of the sessions that will be able to provide technical assistance to the presenters as well as the attendees. And we'll also have technical assistance from the VFAIR's platform, and then we'll have technical assistance from the TAP team. So we'll be well covered when it comes to technical assistance. And then register again, just make sure if there's anyone that you know who is not registered, please ask them to register. And again, registration is still open. So if there are more people who would like to register, we definitely welcome them. Since we're virtual this year and the conference is free, we want to make sure that it reaches as many people as possible. And then log in. So right now, the VFAIR's platform is not public. This is the only public area or public page for the VFAIR's platform. However, once the conference opens, everyone will log in order to access all different parts of the conference, including the sessions, the exhibitors, etc. And login will consist of the email address that was used to register. So please make sure that that you remember the email address that you used to register, because that's the email address you would use in order to access the back end of the conference platform. In the last session, we have received a question about, back to the agenda. So here on the next page, I'll show you, it's just the agenda shell. And so in preparation for the conference, now that we have finalized our schedule and all of the sessions, we are going to update this page to include each of the sessions. So the title of the session, as well as whom the presenters are, on this page so that as we're preparing for the conference and people are kind of planning out their schedule and the different sessions that they're going to attend, etc., they will have all of those details on this landing page so that they can plan out their schedule. And then, of course, once we open up the conference platform, then they'll be able to join the sessions, etc. So this page is just a placeholder right now, but we're in the process of updating it now that our schedule is finalized. So any questions? Should I take a look at the chat, Melinda?
I don't think so.
Okay, great. I'll keep going. It's just flashing, so I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. So this next picture tells you about the creation of the webinars, so of the individual sessions. Originally, we thought that presenters will go in and update this information. However, that is not the case, and the TAP team will be creating all of the sessions for everyone. So here are some key pieces of information we will need from you as presenters in order to set up the session. And these details were included in the communication that was sent out with the schedule. So of course, we know the title of your presentation based on your summit proposal. And we also have a description of your abstract. Excuse me, we have the abstract / description. If there are any changes, because we know that, you know, from the time you submitted the proposal up until this point, there may have been changes in the direction of your session, your presenters, etc. If there are any changes, we need to know that information by tomorrow, because we as a TAP team are beginning to create these session profiles. So we need to make sure that we include the most updated information as possible. If you do change your abstract or your description, we need it to still remain in that 500 character limit with spaces. So definitely be conscious of that if you're making changes. Then on the right-hand side is the handout link or handout upload. So you have one or two options when it comes to sharing your resources with conference attendees. You can create a handout link. So what that means is you could create, let's say, a Google folder if you have multiple pieces of information you'd like to share with everyone. So let's say you want to share your PowerPoint that you will be using. You want to share a handout or a worksheet, a pamphlet that talks about, you know, your program or the service that you provide. Then you would upload all of those pieces of information into a Google folder that's made public, or even a Dropbox folder that's made public, and then you'll provide us with the link to that particular folder with all of your handouts. Or if you only have one piece of information, you can just you can send that information to us. So if you only have a PowerPoint, or if you only have a Word document that you want to share with your attendees of your session, you send that to us and we'll upload the handout. Both of these pieces of, both of these options will be made available to attendees in your session profile, as well as in the resources section, and then they'll be able to add the information to their swag bag. So that's how we are going about you being able to share your resources with attendees for your session. And there was a date provided on when we need this information as well. And then handout title, definitely align the handout title with your session title so that, you know, when attendees are searching for this information, the proper information will appear. Webinar group, sequence, and type, as well as language, is what we'll fill out, so you don't have to worry about that. We'll also enter keywords to make sure that when attendees are searching for your session, that when they search, the information will appear for them. So any questions? And definitely feel free to come off mute if you have any questions. Okay, not hearing anything, so I will move forward.
Actually, Veronica, Deborah had a question. I'm sorry, but where do we send out documents?
Where do you send out documents? Where do you send so that we can include them in your session profile?
Deborah, you can unmute to clarify.
I'm so sorry, Veronica. I'm not sure if you had mentioned it. I was just taking notes, but if we do have things we need to send you, you know, I know you're mostly taking care of this, but specific, like ask, you know, if it's the PowerPoint itself, where do we email it to you?
You email it to tap@caladoed.org, and that's where you will send all of your materials.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So the next picture I'm going to go to is our auditorium, and this is where all attendees will be able to access your particular session. So in the lobby, attendees will click on the auditorium, and then this picture will appear. You know, it's a graphic image that basically looks like we're all convening in a large space. So they'll click anywhere in here, and then the session agenda will appear. So I'm going to go to the next picture to show you, and this is just a mock-up. Everything in here is fake. So this will appear once they click on anywhere in that auditorium. And all of these different steps will be provided in a handout as well as a short video to all attendees. So they'll know exactly how to, you know, go about the conference. So here's the agenda that will appear. This top bar here, this is how we're going to categorize all of the sessions. So we are going to categorize these sessions based on program strands. So it will have, for example, learner transition, curriculum, leadership, etc. And attendees will click on the program strand that they want to explore sessions for. And when they click on the program strand, it will have the date. So it'll be in date order. So starting with October 26th, and then after all of the October 26th sessions are listed, they'll go to October 27th and 28th and so forth. And then all of the sessions will appear. So here, this first box where it says tab staff test, that's the name of the session. And then underneath is the session description. Again, this is all fake information. But then underneath here is the document. So for this particular session, the presenter decided to just upload one document. And so attendees, as they're exploring these sessions, they'll be able to click on this one document and then it will appear. And if they want to save it in their swag bag, they will have to go to the resources section to save to the swag bag. But it will appear here. And then on the other side of the screen, on the other side of the screen, you will see the date and time for each of the sessions, you know, how much longer we have until it starts. And then there'll be a join button here. Now, all sessions, the join button will appear 1 minute prior to the start of the actual session. So once attendees get to this point, they want to join your session, 1 minute prior, they'll click on join and they'll automatically be sent to the link, the Zoom webinar link for your particular session. Now, if a session has closed and they want to come back and view the recording, this play button right here, they'll be able to access the recording. The vFairs platform will be available to all attendees, all registered attendees, for 90 days or 3 months after the conclusion of the conference. And then after that, we will extract all the information from the platform, from the vFairs platform, and upload it to a summit section on the CAEP website. So they'll have access to everything forever, but just the vFairs platform will only be available for 3 months after the session has concluded. So that is how attendees will be able to access your particular session based on the program strand and the day and time you are presenting. Any questions?
Veronica, I have a question that I put in the chat, but how do you want the files to be saved? Do you want these as PDFs or Word or in PowerPoint?
You can, either of those options are good. You can do a PDF, a Word, or a PowerPoint. Yeah, all of those options are, they'll work for the system. Thank you for that, Emma. So one thing that I wanted to talk about, and Melinda will cover it more in the technical part of this training, but how presenters will access your particular session. So attendees will access your session from this agenda. However, you as presenters and even co-presenters, you will access the session that you are presenting from Zoom itself. So here is a screenshot of a session we set up, and where it says invite panelists, we will add all of the lead presenters and co-presenters. Will invite them as panelists to present in the to present for your particular session. So everyone will be listed here. Everyone will receive a unique link to access your particular session. So attendees will access your session via the vFairs platform, and you all as presenters will access your particular session via the link from Zoom, and then TAP will also send you a follow-up communication so that we make sure that you have the correct link. So you expect to receive a link from Zoom and expect to receive the link from TAP for your particular session. If you are participating or presenting in multiple sessions, we will provide you more than one link. So each link will be unique for your particular session. So let's say you are presenting in, let's say 4 sessions, you'll receive 4 different links. So that's how presenters will access the sessions as presenters, and then, or as panelists, and then attendees will access the session as attendees from BFairs. So we just want to make that clear distinction between the two. And again, Melinda will cover that in more detail during her session. So that is all that I have. Are there any additional questions? I'm going to stop sharing.
So just real quick, Veronica, you said if there are multiple presenters, because I do have a couple of those where there's several of us in a presentation, we will all be able to have the same rights to present, or do you have to keep asking the other person, like you have one main presenter that will be moving the presentation?
Right. So everyone will have the same rights. Everyone will be panelists as you are now. So everyone will be able to screen share. Everyone will be able to access the Q&A section. Everyone will be able to, if you wanted to promote your attendees to panelists, everyone will have that access. However, it's up to you all how you structure your presentation. So, identifying the person who's going to screen share, who's going to advance the slides. If you're going to have a moderated Q&A, you all determine that information. All we're asking, and this information was included in the communication we sent out, all we're asking is that you describe to us how you're going to set up your session, and then also let us know, for example, if you're going to use polls, then we want to have those set up prior to your session. So you'll let us know the questions you'll ask, as well as the answer choices that will be available to your attendees, also letting us know at what point you want us to launch the polls. If you're going to have a moderated Q&A, would you like your tech host to assist with that, or do you have someone on your panel to assist with that? So just letting us know those details so that for each of the sessions, your tech host will know exactly how these sessions will take place. So providing
thank you.
much information. Yeah, you're welcome. And Mitch says the registration link won't let me register. Who knew? Wonder who did that. What happened?
I think it's said, I think Holly says I'm already registered, but I have no idea who registered me. So,
Oh.
All right.
Well, great. I'm glad you are registered.
It's okay. I never got a confirmation, so Holly had to go also to check to see if I'd registered. So there's some, glitches, but I do like that Holly got back to me to tell me that I was officially registered.
We love Holly. Hi, Holly.
She's
Any
hiding.
additional questions?
I do have a question about, you did mention about sharing document links. Is that something that we're required to do, or is it or can we share the link for the presentation during our session?
So, and Melinda, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe in the Zoom webinars, you're able to share no, you are in the chat. Yes, in the chat, you are able to. But if you want them to have, let's, for example, maybe an attendee don't make it to your session, but they still want the resources, then if you want us to publish your resources, then you'll send them to us. But yes, you can definitely share in the chat.
Thank you. Sounds
You're
good.
welcome. All right, if there are no further questions, I will go on mute and let Melinda take it from here. But if other questions come up, definitely let us know.
And I'm going to add a little bit more to about that file sharing that was just asked about, because in meetings, you can upload a file into the chat and everybody can then download it. You cannot do that in a webinar. You can type in a link, but it has to be the full link. So if it's https:// you have to have all of that. Putting in www.otan.us does nothing. We would have to type in https:// okay? So the link works and it's clickable, but you're not going to be able to upload a file into the chat like you can a meeting. That's one difference between a meeting and a webinar. The other difference is there's a Q&A, and Marjorie Olavides has been giving us some questions to answer. Don't answer any right now because I'm trying to save that so during the presentation to show you what to do and stuff. You don't have a Q&A in a meeting, but you do in a webinar, and that's where we'll try to lead people to that, because it actually records the questions and the answers if they're typed in, and then you can get that file later. Not the day after, maybe the week after, and only if you ask for it and, you know, give Holly a Starbucks card or something and she'll download it for you. So it's no, not a CSV. It's a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet that she can get a hold of. So that's another difference between meeting and webinar. The other one, and if anybody has been planning on using breakouts, nope, there's no breakouts in a webinar. Okay, so if you just went, just relax a little bit and rethink your presentation. Okay, there will be no breakouts. There's nothing we can do about it. Zoom does not allow breakouts in webinars. So that's it. Attendees, this question came up last session. Will attendees be able to unmute themselves or come onto video? No. That's a function of the webinars, defaulted to where attendees cannot talk unless the co-host or the host allow the attendees. And it's actually kind of a lengthy process. We have to go into the attendee list, which is what we did with all of you. You came in as attendees and we promoted you to panelists. So we would have to promote the attendee. If you wanted to do that, that's going to take up a lot of time to get that to happen. So I would highly recommend you don't do that. Just have your attendees communicate with you using the chat. We're all used to using the chat, or the Q&A, which is what we're going to practice with here in a little bit. Okay, so those are the main differences. You can have polls. Veronica already said you can have polls. There's no problem. Just get the questions and the answers, or the selections to tap. Okay, so you can have polls. And those are the main differences. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Melinda, can I ask a quick question?
Oh, yes.
Do you have any
Please.
sense of how many people to expect in these? I mean, I know this is the first time go around, but any
What
estimate?
I would guesstimate anywhere from 1 to 500.
Because that kind of feeds into whether we even want to think about opening it up for
Exactly.
people to
Yeah.
questions.
So you might want to wait until you see how many people actually make it into the room. You know, there's no telling. I actually did a webinar for CAEP, and we had 4 people show up. It was early in the morning. It's 6:30 my time. So I didn't expect a lot of people. I expected a few more, but because there were only 4, I went ahead and unmuted everybody, and we just had a chat. So
Yeah.
you might want to make that decision on the fly. Okay.
Or just shut everybody up. And that's
Well,
fine.
yeah, they're already shut up. So you got nothing to, it's not your fault. You can blame us.
Emma,
Okay.
you don't need questions, do you?
Huh?
Emma, you don't need any questions.
I mean, no, she doesn't need questions. She doesn't know the answers to them anyway. So I want everyone to click on the share button, because I want you to see what I see right now. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, click the share button, and then take your hands off your mouse and just listen to me for a little bit. You are given options on what to share. You can share your desktop. You can share your screen. It depends on what device you're on the options that you're given. Okay, my option is desktop 1. I only have one desktop. I only have one screen. So that's the only option that I have as far as desktop or screen. I have Google Chrome open, so I have that as an option. I have my Finder open. Yes, I'm on a Mac, so I have that as an option as well. Always, always, always select your desktop or your screen, because if I selected Google Chrome right now, I could maneuver between Chrome. I could show you everything in Chrome. But if I wanted to show you that Finder window, when I click on it, I'm going to assume you all see it, but you don't, because I told Zoom I only want them to see Google Chrome, and Zoom is going to protect my privacy. So you won't see my desktop. You won't see all of the other windows or all of the other applications I have open. Even if I open them, if I close Chrome, that closes the share. So always share your desktop. Also on this window, there's 2 checkboxes down at the bottom. Share computer sound. Select that whether you think you need it or not. Okay, that way it's open. And if you do decide, oh, I got some time, I'm going to show you that video that I didn't think I was going to have time for. Boom, you got computer share or computer sound already open for you. If you stop share after selecting that checkbox, when you start sharing again, it's already selected. So you only have to do it once, okay? That next checkbox, optimize screen share for video clip. Don't do it, ever, 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 ever. It sounds like a really cool idea. Optimize, we think that means great things, right? It doesn't work that way. We have found in the past that when people use optimize screen share, it will appear fuzzy as all get out and no one will be able to see what's on your screen. Okay, so keep that in mind. Do not optimize, not for video, not for PowerPoint, not for slides, not ever. Don't use it. The last thing on the screen I want you to see is that blue share button. Well, I already selected the share button. Yeah, you got to select it again. Okay, so you're going to hit the green share. You're going to select desktop 1 or screen, and then make sure computer sound selected, and then hit the blue share. All right, now what I'd like for all of you to do right now is to close the share button. I don't want you to share because I'm going to share. And here's the window I have open that I didn't really want you to see, but now I've closed it. Now you can't see it, right? When you're sharing, I actually have the Q&A open. I have video windows open. And when you share, you have video controls open. I could also open the chat. Okay, and I'm moving the chat around right now, but you don't see it. Okay, I'm moving my Q&A around right now, but you don't see it. I could move my video controls around, but you won't see it. So all of these windows are on my screen. I can move them anywhere I want. I can close them. I don't have to have the chat open. I don't have to have the Q&A open. But that means I'm kind of cutting myself off from my audience. I won't see what they're typing, what the questions that they're typing. Again, Veronica's already told you that everyone's going to have a tech host. So even if you don't have a co-presenter, you're going to have somebody in there that can help you. As long as there aren't tech issues happening, your tech host could read the chat questions to you if you just want to focus on chat. If you've never used a Q&A, you don't want to deal with it, that's fine. You don't have to. The Q&A is a really cool tool, though. I would suggest you use it. The tech host, again, could read the questions from the Q&A. Okay, so you'll have somebody dedicated, but if you have a co-presenter, discuss this. Discuss whether or not you're going to have the chat open and be looking at it, or whether or not they're going to ask you the questions. Remember, your co-presenters have the same rights that you do, basically, in this Zoom webinar, so they'll be able to unmute and show their video and share screen. They'll be able to do everything that the lead can do. Okay. All right, moving on. Use a laptop or a desktop. Do not use a tablet. Do not use a phone, because they are very hard to troubleshoot. And the people that we have that will be your tech hosts, they know a lot of good tech stuff, but they're not going to be able to troubleshoot your tablet problem or your phone problem. So if you're comfortable with the tablet, if you're comfortable presenting it from your phone or your tablet, then by all means you use it, but don't expect any help. Okay, I'm sorry that sounds so abrupt, but it is what it is. We can help you if you use a laptop or a desktop. Okay, any questions on that? You can use the chat to ask any questions. I'm looking at it. Okay, all righty. Next up, I don't see any questions. So microphone. This is, you are hearing this sound through my wired headset with the microphone. Okay, it is connected to my computer. That's why we call it wired, and it's a Logitech Bluetooth device. If you don't have one, you could certainly use your laptop sound. I'm going to give you a demo of what the sound difference is, or you could use your Bluetooth headset. Now, here's what happens when you use Bluetooth. Sometimes what you will hear is this, and then I'm still talking, and I'm coming, and then I'm moving my head. So every once in a while, you're going to kind of lose connection. and it'll go in and out. So that's kind of what happens with the Bluetooth. Okay. Computer sound. If you don't have a headset, you might want to consider getting one. But if you don't have one, hang on just a sec. Here we go. I'm talking now. And because I'm in a room and I'm using my computer microphone, you should hear a difference. Veronica, do you hear a difference? Testing 1, 2, 3. Veronica, you're muted. Is anybody there?
Yes, I can hear a difference. You
Okay,
sound
good.
like you're in a cavern.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm in a cavern. I'm actually in a room and I have a green screen behind me, so that's dampening some of the sound a little bit, but not enough, right? So I'm going to go back to my headset because you're going to hear an immense difference between the two. So you might want to consider getting a headset if you want to sound clear to your audience. Logitech has a really good brand out. If you want more information about that, at the end of this, we'll find you a link to it. Okay. All right. Any questions on sound so far? Going once, going twice, going. Next. Okay. Install the app. If you install the app, it will open up the link for you. You're going to get a message, which I'm going to cover next, from TAP and from Zoom that you are a panelist, right? You're going to click on the link in there and it's going to open up the Zoom app and everything will be golden and you'll be right there. But if you don't have the app installed, you might click on the link that is sent to you in your email and it opens up in the web client, which is the browser, which is not what we want you to do because you will not have as much functionality as a presenter. Okay, if you open up the link and you're in the room and you notice that your picture doesn't come up when you have your video turned off. It just has an M or a K, whatever your name starts with. That could be because you're in the web app instead of your app account, your Zoom account. So install the app. You need to go to zoom.us and hit download. If you're not sure if you have the app or not, go here. And if you see a download button, click it. Okay. If you already have it, it won't install or it'll tell you it's updating instead of installing. And if you do have it, you won't see a download button. Okay. If you don't have it, you'll see download. So do that. Download the app if you don't have it installed on the computer. We don't want you to use that web client. You might not even get in the room. You know, you'll click on the link. It'll say, do you want to open this up in zoom.us or open it up in the web browser? And you choose web browser. You're going to be in the waiting room with all the attendees. Okay. So please download that app. Here's the invite. Okay. Well, it's go ahead.
If I've already got Zoom on my computer on my own account, do I still need to download the app?
I'm so glad you asked. No, you've already got it. It's good to go. Okay. But you do have an account. Yeah. If that account is mrosen@lausd.net, I know it's not, but if it was, okay, and you got an email that went to mrosen@gmail.com, you have a problem because TAP and Zoom think you want to be a presenter using your @gmail.com instead of your @lausd.net. So you need to contact TAP. Okay. You can sign in with different accounts. That's not a problem. So you just need to make sure which account you got, which account is available in Zoom. And like in Zoom, you can switch accounts. I'm here using an mholt@scoe.net account. My main account is mholt@otan.us. So what I just switched accounts. It's not a big deal. All right. So make sure you use that email address that you were provided or that you provided when you submitted your proposal. If it's different, then you need to contact TAP before the summit. And I'm not talking a day before. I'm talking like a couple days before at the very least. All right.
Linda,
so, yes.
I have a question about that. So like for our college, we have either you could use .edu, .cc, .ca.us. Is that sensitive?
Yes, it is.
To the email address?
Absolutely. Yes. Yep.
Can't remember what I used.
Well, then you're going to have to find out, aren't you? Yeah, just contact TAP. They'll be able to tell you. They'll see it in the registration. But whatever is put into Zoom, Zoom doesn't know for different domains. It doesn't see the difference between, or it does, I'm sorry, it does see the difference between .ca.k12.us, where the same domain might be scoe.net. Okay, so yes, Zoom is the problem there. It's not what you submitted or what TAP has. It's just that Zoom knows the difference between, you know, it's in, oh God, how am I, my brain's not working. Emma, yes, there. Did that answer the question? You need, it's got to be the same email address along the lines, right? Straight across. So at whatever, it needs to be the same. That didn't come out right. And if you have any questions about it, I totally understand. Please ask. Once you hit the link, you could also join with the meeting ID. So you can click on the join button, hit the meeting ID, and you will probably be prompted to type in your name and enter your presenter email address. Okay. So you enter that exact same email address, whatever TAP thinks it is. That's what you need to type in. Okay. And it will allow you in. If you use the wrong email address, you're going to be sitting in the waiting room with everybody. Okay. Same thing. And again, you can sign into the Zoom or you can just join the meeting. If, or not if, you will see this little message come up. Please wait for at least maybe, it might just be a blip. It depends on how fast your Wi-Fi is. It might be 3 seconds. It might even be 5 seconds. If it's longer than 5 seconds, something's wrong. Okay, so count slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oop, nope, not going to work. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit this little X right here. You're going to close that window. You're going to you're going to open up your Zoom app that you've already installed, and you're going to sign out of all accounts. Then you're going to rinse and repeat. Open up that email that you got from TAP or the Zoom email that you got. You're going to click on the link. You're probably going to be prompted to put in your name and the email address. Use the same email address that you just opened up, right, to get that message. And then you're going to join webinar. Again, you're going to see this little message come up for about 3 seconds, and then poof, you'll be in the room. 9 times out of 10, all you have to do when you have a snafu is just sign out of all your Zoom accounts and then repeat the process. Okay? When you get into the room, the first thing you should do is open the chat. That is your only means of communication with your tech host if your microphone doesn't work or if their microphone doesn't work. Okay, so open chat first. Then we're going to ask you some questions. We're going to do this well with all your co-presenters. We're going to ask you to test your audio, your video, sharing, and how do you want to do the session? Do you want us to read the questions for you? Are you going to use a Q&A? So we're just going to do some really quick, because there aren't going to be any tech problems. It's going to run smoothly, right? If there are any, we're going to fix them. And if there aren't any, you might be sitting there twiddling your thumbs until we hit the broadcast button to let people in, which is okay, right? We like to the exercise our thumb twiddles here. So we don't want to have any stress. Any questions about that so far? Okay, next slide, audio test. Everyone go look at the bottom of your screen and you're going to see a similar icon. Now you might see a red slash through it. Keep that, okay? Mine, when I'm looking at it, has a little green bar that pops up and down while I'm talking. That lets me know that my microphone is being detected by Zoom, okay? It's showing me through that green bar. If you have the red slash, you know you're muted. 9 times out of 10, the reason we can't hear the presenter is because they're muted, okay? People aren't going to be able to read your lips, especially if you have the video being muted. So make sure your microphone isn't muted. Go ahead and hit that little arrow next to the microphone, and you will see your selections that Zoom has detected for your input and your output. Your input's your microphone. Okay, so same as system. Yeah, I'm not going to cover that. Logitech, mine says Logitech, and it has the model number. Okay, that's what I have selected. When I went to where it sounded like I was in a cavern, I changed it to built-in microphone. And you can do that, by the way, when you're presenting and sharing, you get all these options. So I selected this. And then when I came back to headset, I just went back to my microphone, the little caret next door, and hit Logitech. Okay. The speaker, if you hear the tech host coming through your headset and that's what you had selected, then you're golden. If you hear your tech host, the sound coming out of your built-in speaker, well, that's weird. This is why you want to check this little caret, because it's probably that you have the built-in output selected instead of your headset or your Bluetooth or whatever you're using. There's some testing options here. You can test your speaker and microphone. Zoom will take you through some steps. So we might ask you to do that if we're detecting problems with either one, your speaker or your microphone. You might want to also check out the audio settings. Go ahead and click on that so you can see the options there. You're all muted, so you're not going to be able to test anything right now, but you'll see that screen that comes up and the different options there. Okay, so we might have to walk you through this. I just want you to be aware that this is where we will be leading you. Right, go down to the microphone, hit the arrow next to the microphone, go down to, fill in the blank, test speaker, audio settings. Basically, the first thing we're going to be asking you is, what is your input or your output? What is microphone set to? What is speaker set to? Okay, so go ahead and close those windows if you follow direction. I know some of you did, some of you didn't. That's okay. All right. Any questions about the audio? Audio is very important in a webinar. If we don't have audio from you, we kind of don't have a presentation unless you planned on doing shadow puppets, but I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. All right. Doesn't look like there's any questions. By the way, you're all going to get a chance to practice after this. So hang in there. We're almost done. Video test. I'm not worried about video. I'm worried about your sharing, which is coming up, but I'm not worried about whether we can see you or not. That being said, when I stop my video, you're going to see a picture of me instead of me or instead of my name. Okay, that's a little more personable, or a Bitmoji would be a little more personable than just seeing a letter or your name. So I really recommend, after you install the app, or if you have the app already installed, to go to your settings. You're going to open up Zoom. You're going to go to your settings on Zoom and you'll see a profile. You're going to hit that profile link, and then you can upload a picture of yourself. Okay. Make sure it's a picture of you, not somebody else. All right. But it's better to have that, especially if you start getting internet unstable messages. If I, as the tech host, start hearing some weird things happening, or that you're presenting, right? If I heard that while you were presenting, I would ask you, hey, Mitch, could you stop your video? Because we're getting some really bad audio coming out. So why don't I have you turn off your video if it's the audio that's a problem? Because video is taking up a lot of bandwidth. So if we stop that, then that usually makes the microphone or your input sound better. Your internet doesn't have to worry about getting video packets through the portal as well as audio packets. It's just focusing on the audio. Okay. So I'm not too concerned about the video. I do want your attendees to know who you are, and it more than your name is a good thing. Okay. By the way, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
So the only time, and I don't know if it's because of how I set it up, but the account that I have is through the school district. And the only time a picture shows up is if I log in the direct, using the instructions that they gave me, that is not on the app, but it's on the site.
Yeah, okay. When you open the app, if you're signing into the same account, the picture should still be there.
Okay. So
Okay.
if I download the app and I sign in on the app, it should mirror exactly what's on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So on the web side, you've got your user ID and password. It's your email address and whatever the password is.
Yes.
Use that same user ID and password when you open the app. Okay.
Yeah. I just don't,
Yeah.
I think they did that for us. And so
No,
it's
I don't think they
automatic
would've.
through Google. I
Well,
don't.
what happens too, Melinda,
Right.
And I support what Jody is saying, because it happens to me if I'm not logging, like I have to copy and paste the link and go through Zoom and put that link in there. If not, it won't show my picture.
Because the web app is taking, it's the web app that's being used. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Correct, because when we
picture
send the,
just-
when you sent
right.
us the link, we just clicked on that link. We didn't necessarily log
in
into
the web
Zoom.
app is, yeah. So in the message that you're going to be sent, there's also something called a meeting ID.
Mhm.
Okay. And it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 11 numbers. Okay. You're going to select that. You open up the app. You can hit join meeting.
Right.
Okay. Or you can sign in with the account and then put in the meeting ID. Boom. It knows who you are. It knows that you have a profile picture. Everything will be golden. It should be. And if it's not, if you want to test it out, if you're having problems with anything that we're showing you right now, I'm more than welcome, or I'm more than welcome. I'm more than able to have little meetings with you guys. Okay. Or you can ask TAP. Veronica and Mendeley and Holly they're becoming Zoom experts. So they'll have they could have some meetings with you as well, some Zoom meetings, and we can test it out. Okay.
Thanks.
Show. Okay, so that's the video test. Sharing. We've already kind of gone over this a little bit. Always share your desktop or your screen. Yeah, don't share the app, because then if I just shared Chrome and then I think about it and go, oh, there's this really cool thing on my desktop. Do you all see this? Yes, you do, because I shared my screen. But if I just shared Chrome, when I can see that little window that I just had open, but you wouldn't. Okay, so share your desktop or your screen. It's going to save you a lot of grief later. Do not select the optimize option. That's really bad. You're going to then select the blue share. Okay. The next thing you should do is ask the tech host if the screen is showing. There's nothing worse than you're on slide 5 and you're going and you've got your rhythm going and everything's cool. And all of a sudden you hear this voice that says, Emma, we can't see your screen. Think, right? So you got to go back through it all. We got to do some support. Maybe you forgot to hit the blue screen or the blue button, whatever. Then you get back and you have to redo those 5 slides, right? That's wasted a lot of time and it's going to throw your rhythm off and everything. So ask us if we can see your screen. We're going to try and remember to tell you, but the fail safe is you just asking. All right. Let's see here. These are the controls that you're going to see. They're not quite different from a meeting. They're about the same, except we have this Q&A button in the middle now. So you have the microphone, you have the video, so you can turn that off if you wish without stopping share. There's the green area is going to have a little arrow on it, so you can pin this control bar to the very top of your screen or the very bottom. So if it's in your way up at the top, you can push it down to the bottom. You can also, and I'm going to do it, you can also move it around. Now you don't see this, but you see my mouse moving and I'm just moving my control bar all over the place. Okay, so you have the option to move it anywhere you want, or you can pin it using that little arrow there. Okay, the more button, you're going to want to know what's here. If you're used to using the chat and that's what you want to use, then you click that chat and it will open up. Okay. Also here, you're going to see, ooh, that was scary. Okay. You're also going to see the optimize screen share. Don't do that. But if you forgot to share your sound, you'll see that option here as well. So sharing computer sound, it's better to do it right off the get-go and then it's always on. But if you forget, it'll be right here as well in the more button or the skinny snowman or the melted snowman, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And we're all going to get to practice this. The chat is where most people are used to chatting their questions in a meeting. We are going to try, based on what you tell us to do, we're going to try and tell everybody to use the Q&A for their questions and not the chat. Okay, that being said, I want everyone to click on the Q&A button. If you don't have it open already, please open it. Don't touch it.
Melinda,
Yes.
I just have a quick question because right now I saw that the record button came up. So my question is more logistical is will the tech person in the room let the people know in the session that it will, number one, be recorded, and will they be
Yes,
recording
we're
it?
going to
So
do
like,
some light housekeeping at the very beginning.
Okay.
So we'll let them know it's going to be recorded. We're going to tell them about the chat. We're going to tell them about the Q&A, and any other thing that you would like announced right before. Okay.
Okay.
So we
So we
are
don't-
going to be taking up 2 to 3 minutes of your time. Sorry.
that's fine, but I was wondering because sometimes, you know, like Veronica does it as we go on the webinars. She'll have a slide at the beginning of the presentation with
We
the
will do
housekeeping
that.
rules. You'll do that. Okay,
Yep. We're going to do that. The
Okay.
text hosts will do that. Okay.
cool. Thanks.
Yep. So everyone's got the Q&A open now, right? Don't touch it. Look at what's there. The first question. Now, all of these were input by Marjorie. Thank you, Marjorie, if you're still here, so that we would have something to play with. All right. So you'll see the person's name. You'll see, and above that, look at the very top. You're going to see the words open, answered, and dismissed. Okay. Now, Kathy was very nice. She was answering a bunch of questions as they came in right at the beginning. We had to tell her to stop so that we would have some practice questions left. But go ahead and click on the answered tab because that actually helps us. You can see all of the answers that have been input. Well, how can Kathy answer? Because Kathy is a co-presenter. Don't touch any buttons. Don't stop. Okay. Stop. I can see what you're doing. Don't do it. So your co-presenters can answer questions. Your co-presenters, if you go in line with somebody's name, you'll see 3 dots, the more button. Okay. You can dismiss questions if you're a presenter or a co-presenter. So this first question, what is or was for lunch? I can, as the presenter, while it's going, I can dismiss this question. And now it went into the dismissed pool. Am I going to do that while I'm presenting? Probably not, because I'm busy, right? So if I have a co-presenter, I'm going to leave it to them to man the Q&A. Okay, dismiss questions that aren't pertinent to the presentation. The tech host, we will do what you tell us to do. Okay, if you want us to read the questions, then we will read the questions to you. And then what we will do is click on the answer live button. When I click on the answered live button, what I get then is a done button. So I'm clicking on answered live because I hear the presenter answering the question, can you post that link again? And the presenter saying, and we're going to post the link again because somebody's already asking the Q&A, right? So as the co-presenter or the tech host, I hear that, I click the answer live button and then I hit done and it goes to the answered pool. Okay. So answer live doesn't mean it doesn't mean that somebody actually gets mic access to answer it live. It means that it's being answered in real time live. Okay. I hope that made sense. What I'd like everyone to do right now, because you are co-presenters, you're here as panelists, I want everyone to type an answer to one of those questions. So there's a bunch of questions there. How did you get to work? It needs to be Friday, like now. Do you agree or disagree? Answer one of those questions. So what you're going to do is you're going to type the answer. You're going to click type answer, and then you're going to type something, and then you're going to hit done. And then if you want, you can follow the bunny trail and click on answered and see where it went. Okay, so if you haven't ever used the Q&A, go ahead and answer a couple of questions. Does anybody have any questions about the Q&A? Okay. Someone please give me a puppy. I'm going to dismiss that one. Okay. So again, the presenter can get involved too if they want to. Last slide. Everyone pay attention to this one because this is going to make some of you go, ah! We will start on time. Yay! Okay. And we're also going to end on time. Uh-oh. So we will give you a 5, a 2, maybe even a 30-second warning. But when you hear 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we will hit the end meeting button whether you're in mid-sentence or not. Sorry, folks, we have to do it that way because we have people that are going to be starting their webinar on time right after you. Our tech hosts are going to be recycling themselves from one webinar to the next. So we have to end on time so that we can get to the next webinar and open it for the next set of presenters to have their practice time. You've got about 10 minutes where we're going to work out all the kinks. You're going to get settled. Everything's going to be good. And then we're going to hit broadcast 1 minute before start time so that everyone can fall in the door. All right. So we are going to end on time, no exceptions. Don't anybody goes, oh, please, 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 just 30 more seconds. Nope. Ended. Okay. So I apologize in advance for anybody that gets caught in mid-sentence, but we're not going to make any exceptions for anybody at that point. Okay. I think that's all I got. I think that, oh, there's one thing that I forgot to cover that Marjorie, she's actually in a Katisol booth right now, and she's also here. So she's double teaming. So she usually does the audio piece. So I'm going to stop sharing real quick to show you this, because sometimes people like to have another monitor off to the side so they can look at what's happening, right? They can see how they're sharing, how it's coming across. They come in as an attendee. So yes, you can do that. But if I have this device close to me and I start hearing this, we've all heard that before, right? You're going to get feedback. So make sure your second device is muted. No audio. All right. You don't need to hear yourself. You really don't. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions on what I've covered so far? Because right now the next part is to have you share your screen, practice a little bit, and then get out of here. Okay. You can stay and watch everybody else because everybody has different stuff that happens. So you'll learn something with everybody's share. But if you do have, I'm also being, respectful of your time. If you got something else to do, you want to share and get out, that's fine too. But does anybody have any questions about what we've covered so far? No? Emma's shaking her head no. So that means nobody else has.
I do about 8 hours of Zoom a day, so.
Oh, you got it. Kathy, you got a question?
Yeah, first, sorry for typing in those answers. But the second, as you've noted, it's recording. Are we going to get, I had to step in a few minutes late. So are we going to be getting a copy of this recording?
The recording will be put on the VFairs. A link will be created by Zoom. We have to wait for it to render and everything. And then that link will be put on VFairs so that people will have access to it. I believe after that, the videos may be put onto the CAEP Tap video channel, but is Veronica here? Oh, there we go.
Melinda, I think she's referring to the recording for today's session. Kathy, is that correct?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, so we can provide a copy of today's session to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Kathy, you didn't miss that much.
Okay.
You really didn't.
Sophia, I see your question regarding a copy of the PowerPoint. That should have been included with your schedule information. Did you receive your schedule information?
Sophia?
I haven't received it, but I probably need to get it. I'm a co-presenter, so somebody else probably got it, right?
Yeah, your lead
Sorry.
presenter was
Sorry,
all the information.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to check my email again.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
And if you don't have it in there, we can definitely send it to you.
Thank you so much.
You know, the TAP team, they're rock solid. As soon as they hear the word help, they're on it. So by, email them. Kudos to them all. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to be like a roulette wheel. Kathy, you're first. Would you like to share? So here's the thing. Look at the bottom of your screen. You're going to see the green share button. So go ahead and click that.
I have.
Okay. You're going to share your computer sound. There's a checkbox, right? You want to make sure that you've selected desktop 1 or desktop or screen 1.
Desktop 1.
There you go. So select that. Click the checkbox to share your computer sound. Then
Got optimized screen share.
do not do that. No, 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 never, never. Bad. There we go. When you share, the first thing you should do is ask, can you see my screen? Somebody's got pots and pans off to the side.
Ah,
So unless you're Kathy, could you all please mute, please? Okay, I see your Zoom window, Kathy.
All right, great. So then
Cool.
I share.
Well, no, hang on.
Yeah,
Go back to share. Yes, go back to share because there was something I needed. I want to walk everybody through this. So you can share anything you have there. We see your docking station. We see, you've got a couple of apps that have the black dot. Do you see your control panel for Zoom or the toolbar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's 3 dots at the very end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Click on that, please. Do you see the options there?
Yes.
Okay. One thing I didn't cover, one of those options is leave meeting. Don't ever do that when you're presenting. Okay. No matter how bad it gets. Okay. Never leave the meeting. And if you wanted to, you could pin those controls up at the very top or the very bottom. We don't see where those controls are. You could also move them off to the side if you wanted to. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
You good?
Good.
Okay. Go ahead and stop share. That would be the red little button on the control. And Mitch, what you got? What are you going to share?
I will share the PowerPoint that I'm doing for a PD session later today with one of the consortia that I consult for.
Can adults learn? That's a good question.
This is andragogy versus pedagogy, and then a little bit of hudagogy. So, yeah.
Okay. Now,
today.
you are sharing the application. And I know you said you do Zoom all the time. I got you.
Funny. I'm just sharing the screen.
You're just you're sharing screen? Are you sure?
It has the.
Are you sure?
Am I sharing the PowerPoint screen? Yes, I'm sure that I'm sharing the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Screen.
What about your desktop? If I ask you to,
desktop.
You don't share your desktop. Okay. So I
have all my bells and whistles popping in with text messages and
okay.
Everything is linked. So
as long as you don't have any links, they're going to open up something.
No.
That's right. But then you know about new share, right? So I'm just going to skip.
I could run this and
I know.
Thing,
yeah. All right, get out. Go ahead and stop share. I know. See, I knew you were going to be okay with it. That's why. Okay. Who has it? And Valerie. I'm not going to be able to.
Sokolovskaya. The only reason I'm not screen sharing is because today I'm having difficulties with my actual PC, which is what I usually use to do the screen shares. So I am grappling with my iPhone, which I know not to use, which I barely know how to use.
Okay.
So I promise, I pinky swear, and in fact, I even told my supervisor through chat, we can totally walk through the stuff. I pinky swear, I know how to share screen. I'm just not able to right now. That's why you also can't see me. Like, I'm just having like iPhone issues.
Okay.
And then I dropped the pan.
Yeah.
Okay. Good fessing up. You brought up something though. That I'm going to, because we had this happen actually during a test. We had somebody come in, they just got a brand new laptop and they got Zoom and everything, and they went to share the screen and they weren't able to because the laptop they got was from their school, and their school didn't give them admin rights. And you need admin rights in order to set some settings on the Mac that they were using. All right, so that's something to think about. If you get a new device, please test it. And don't use the test time before your presentation. Okay.
I promise these are not new devices. It's just an old home computer that was having a bad day, and my iPhone is new. I hate iPhones and I don't want to learn how to use it. That's all.
And she is a pro at using computers. So
okay.
Yeah. I have my boss here to vouch for me. Kathy, you know I'm good for it.
I know.
All right. And if you've got a co-presenter, as long as you've got somebody else there with the presentation, you're going to be fine. That's a plan B right there.
We're also wonderful folks. I'm gonna make Kathy. I'm gonna just tell Kira, like, if you leave, I'm gonna freak out and never forgive you. So.
Okay. All right. No freaking out. So okay. Is it George or Jorge?
Yep, that's me, Jorge.
Jorge. Okay.
I do have a quick question before I share. So no matter what email we're using for our Zoom account, we're still going to be given full admin rights because that's done on your end, right? So no matter whether we
Okay.
use,
You
you
need
know
to
what I
use
mean?
the same, yes, you need to sign in to Zoom using the same email address that where TAP is sending you all this information.
Okay.
So if TAP
Okay.
sends you the information to Gmail and then you sign in with LAUSD, you are not going to be a presenter.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Perfect. And I'm with Mitch too. I have like a million things going on my screen, so I'm just gonna share the
That's fine.
website here, the CAEP website.
We got it. Yep, we see it.
Sweet.
Do you
Thank
do you
you.
see the control panel? Do you, are the control
Yes.
tool? Okay. Please click the
Yes.
more button. And do you see chat?
Yes.
Okay.
So Melinda, Jorge's presentation for the CAEP Summit is on Zoom.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Well, then
I was
you
gonna
know,
say I don't need to share because I got Jorge. He shares everything for me.
there you go. So if you're doing a Zoom presentation in a Zoom webinar, do you know that you can share or that we can see your, you know, if you want us to show somebody how to upload their photo, you could actually share your screen to show that. Did you know that?
I did have that in the back of my mind. Yeah. How do you do that?
Okay.
Do we need to have a?
There's settings. Okay. So you're
Okay.
going to go to, excuse me, you're going to go to your Zoom preferences. And I believe it is in the share screen. Yeah. So you're going to go to preferences and you're going to the share screen option. Okay. And, you know, I wish Marjorie was here because she does this all the time. You know what? It's not there.
Settings.
Hang on. Video? No. General? Hang on. I had to turn it off. So where is it? Settings. Hang on. She's in the share screen. I know it is. Side by side, silent scale to fit. Limit your screen share. Okay, let's go back. Enter full screen. Marjorie, she's probably laughing at me right now. Scale to fit. Side by side. There is an option in, oh, nope, that's not it. Darn it. Jorge, I'm going to get back to you on this, okay?
That'd be great.
I know it's in
because
here.
I have seen it and I've looked for it. I don't know
Yeah,
if it
I
was
had it
updated.
on our last, or like Tuesday, and it threw me for a loop because I've forgotten I had it on. So I deselected it, but I will find that, okay?
Thank
and
you.
I'll send,
I appreciate
all
that.
right.
Thank you.
All right.
Is
Go
it
ahead.
content from second screen?
No.
No, okay.
No, it's actually in preferences, and there's a way to show all your Zoom controls so that you can actually show Zoom while you're doing a Zoom presentation. All right, Emma, did you want to share? You got this. You're going to just rely on Jorge, right?
I rely on Jorge and Mitch, and I'm presenting with both of them, so I'm good. Thanks.
Wow, you got it good, man. Jody, what about you?
Sure. You want me to share?
I want you to share. Yes.
Because I have two screens.
Okay.
I do have some of those, and I'm going to share that screen.
Okay. So we see about students.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So using two screens is good because if you want to have your notes open, you could have them open on a different screen.
Right.
I see you're actually sharing your desktop. Did you know that?
No.
Screen or desktop
How would
one or
I-
desktop two? Because I can see your all of your apps down at the bottom. I can see your task tray. So I know you're not sharing an app.
Right.
Okay. As long as
Right.
we're solid on that.
Yeah.
Do you see the video controls? Little toolbar.
Yep.
Okay. It's got a green button. You can pin it up or you can pin it down. It's up to
Yep.
you. Okay.
Okay.
In the more button, ...
Yeah.
Do you see chat? If you want to
Yep.
see the chat. Okay. You also have the Q&A button on the control bar, so you could open that if you wanted to. Again, we don't see it unless you have that setting that I can't find enabled.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We're good?
We're good.
Okay. Cool. All right, here we go. So, Paul, are you still there? Uh-oh. We might have lost Paul. He was being awful quiet. All right, gonna circle back to Paul. Crystal, I see you there, so there's no hiding.
You betcha. And we want to share.
You want to share?
A screen. Is that what you were saying?
Screen, yes.
So you should be seeing it now.
I see your PowerPoint and it's open. Okay.
That's not what I'm going to be doing my thing on, but yes.
That's okay. That's fine. If there are any links in here, this is why you should share screen. Okay. If there's any links while you have a PowerPoint open and you click on the link and you can't see it open, it's going to be behind, right? You're using slides.
Right.
So that might open in a new tab.
Slides. Yeah. I'm not sure what we're going to use yet. We're working on.
Okay. So something to practice or know about during that 10 minutes that you have, right?
Yes.
Do you see the toolbar?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and click on the More button.
Yep.
Okay. Do you see the options there?
Yep.
Okay. Do you see the little green or the green bar? Do you see the little arrow in the green bar? You can pin it up or pin it down. We don't see it, so you can put it anywhere you want. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you know how to stop share?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Kelly, are you still there? Or is it Kel? Oh,
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So I'll share my screen.
Okay. Okay, I see Zoom.
Okay, so I thought I'd show you guys something cool that I found yesterday that our school district did.
And before you go any further, Kelly,
Whoops.
your sound is really not good.
No, I know.
All right. Well, now you're facing the microphone, so
ahead.
that's good.
Yeah, well, I'm facing the computer.
Yes.
I have a laptop that's connected to a monitor. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get some headphones.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So anyway, I'll show you this. Sorry, I'll put my mouth over here. Let's see. So this is a cool thing that the some high school teacher did, and it's just all these different things where you can do like meditation, or this one's really actually, you know what, I didn't do the thing where you in the share where you're supposed to optimize the sound. I forgot to do that.
No,
But
no,
anyway,
no, no, never, 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 never optimize. Never optimize. Even though you're showing videos,
the
don't
sound,
do it.
sorry, the sound part, right?
There's no optimizing sound. It is what it is. There's advanced settings that you can go to in that little microphone, and you've got the caret in the toolbar, right? So you could go there and maybe tweak some stuff, but don't click on anything that says optimize, okay?
Yeah, no, I mean the thing where you do share computer sound. Sorry, share computer.
Oh, well, again, when you're sharing, you don't have to stop sharing. Okay, I want you to look at the controls in the More button.
Oh.
Okay, so if you see share computer sound there, it means you haven't shared computer sound. If you don't see it, it means it's already on.
It's funny because just last night a teacher was like, you have to stop sharing, and then so I'm gonna let her know. But anyway, I'll share this really quick because it's kind of cool. I think I like it anyway. So it's just 8 hours of the ocean.
It's very long. Yeah.
Relaxing. But anyway.
And it's good to have a little break slide too, especially if you want people to ponder something that you've presented. It's good to have a little break like that. One thing, since you're here, for everyone else to know, don't crank the volume up because you think, oh, I'm going to have to make this really loud for everybody. No, don't do that because you're going to blow people's ears off.
Okay.
So make it maybe even a little less than what you think it should be. No more than half. If you go to the halfway mark on the video icon or the volume icon that you have now on the video, so you look at the video right now, you've got a play button and you've got the audio icon. Half or less. Okay, let the attendees turn their volume up or down if they need to. But if you've got that cranked all the way up like that, it's too loud.
Okay, so let me just play this and tell me what you think.
Sure.
Can you hear that?
Yes, it's much better than what it was. It was way too loud before.
See, I've got some audio problems myself, but I'm really glad you said that because I need to sort that out before we present.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. This is really helpful.
Oh, good, good. All right. Rolling the dice here. Lynette, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so do you see a Microsoft Word?
I see a
document?
Microsoft Word document. Yes, warm-up game. It's got a
Okay.
link on it. Links can be put in the chat as long as you've got, you've got that warm-up game, HTTPS, right? If you selected that and you had the chat open, you could select that link and paste it in the chat, and then people could click on it. Okay.
Okay, so where's the chat?
The chat is going to be in the More button. Yeah.
Okay. And all panelists. So I actually put panelists. I should have put panelists and attendees, right?
That's what you're going to want to do during a webinar, right? Everybody here is a panelist, so they would have gotten it either way. But yes, during a webinar, make sure when you're putting a link in that you do to panelists and attendees. Again, as a tech host, if I see that you just put a link in that just went to the panelists, I'm going to copy it and paste it for you so that all attendees get it as well. All right, so you've got a backup there.
Sounds good.
Real quick, when you're, can I just share something? It'll take me like 30 seconds, but not literally share on the screen.
Okay, share something verbally?
Okay, no. I just want to share something with you guys real quick. That's a really good tip. If some folks are having issues with their computer versus microphone versus etc., except for today, which also had to do with a long Windows update, what I had been doing is my physical computer at home does not actually have a good microphone or anything worth mentioning. My phone and headset have a much better one. So what I do is the meetings I run, I enter with my phone, and then I also use the same link to log in on my computer. And I, of course, admit myself as a guest. It just says something like helper or Miss S or something on the side. And that helps me greatly because then I know that should I have some kind of glitch, at least with my computer bandwidth, at least on my phone, I have more security, etc. So that is one thing somebody could do as a potential backup if you're worried about a microphone, is start it on a phone, but open it on your computer. And that way, and for me, it also helps me have a little bit more control, just as a side note.
And you can do that. Just make sure that you, and that's what we were talking about, the second device, just make sure you have the volume all the way down or even muted.
No, I don't, I almost have no functioning microphone. That's why it's almost always muted. That's not a worry.
You will still get feedback. You will still get feedback. So make
sure it's muted.
Volume's turned all the way down, because even though you don't have a microphone maybe, but you have a speaker, and the magnet on one device.
I don't have a speaker. No, I don't have a speaker. There's no way I can hear the sound. My husband did something weird with it for video games and never reset it back. There's no speaker.
There though. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's still there.
Okay.
So whether or not you hear anything, it's still there. So just mute it, even though you don't hear anything from it. If it's not muted, go ahead and mute it and
I will make sure to do that. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Is my sound okay? I don't have a headset.
It sounds a little loud, but it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So is it? We're good.
Yep. Thank you.
You all right? Yeah, and you stopped sharing. Is everything okay?
Yep, everything's great.
All right. So what we got here, Molly.
Yes.
Apologies.
Hi. Melinda. So I'm also a co-presenter. I present with Kathy and Anne. So I think I'm okay, but I do want to check with you on something. So you want me to screen share and also
go ahead.
The question is okay. So I'm gonna screen share. That would be my Google Chrome.
Okay. So go ahead.
So here's my problem is, see, I have a profile picture. I put it up a long time ago. And it kind of, sometimes it comes up and some, like today it's not coming up, the picture.
Today it's not coming up because you're probably in the web app instead of the application. So you opened it through the browser instead of going to the application to open it. So if whatever account this is, okay, the email address and the password associated with this account, what you need to do is open up, you might have to download the app, and then it's going to walk you through a process to create an account. You use the same user ID and password that you do here. Okay. And after you do that, you're going to go to your settings. You're going to go to your preferences, and then you'll have a button or a link, whatever, profile. Okay, so you're going to select profile. You might have to upload the picture again, but then it's stuck.
Yeah.
When you're signed in, it will appear.
I think I did download.
Can you open the Zoom app? Go ahead and open the Zoom app.
From the bottom, you mean?
Well, I meant the application.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Okay, I know. So no. Okay, minimize this button or this browser.
Here.
There we go.
Okay.
And we're going to find out if you shared your desktop or not.
I'm having a lot of issues with my computer these days, so.
Okay, Paul will be right with you here in a little bit. I saw your message in the chat. Is your screen closing? Did it close on your side, Molly?
Okay, so, no, this is, let me close this one. I have a lot of junk on my, see, I have a lot of issues with my computer right now.
Okay, are you using a Mac or a PC?
It's a Mac.
The Mac, okay.
Yeah.
Have you installed the Zoom app on your Mac?
I think I did. That's how I got the account to begin with.
Well, no, you can have an account that's on the web. This is why it's confusing for folks. You can have an account that never opens up a Zoom app because it's opening in the web browser. Okay, that's a really cool function of Zoom.
Okay.
But it's confusing because people, I already have it open because I'm in a meeting. You need to, after you're out of this meeting, I want you to go to your applications folder and I want you to see if Zoom is there.
Okay.
If it is, then you installed it. It's good.
Because the reason I'm puzzled is because like our district has it has a Zoom thing. I went on it and
it has a Zoom license.
It has a Zoom license. So I even put the updates on it. So I thought that's how.
So that sounds like you have the app.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
make sure that that app is signed in. You can still join meetings without signing in. Okay, even though you have the app, it's very confusing and I'm probably not explaining it correctly. So open up the Zoom app. If it sounds like it's installed after this meeting, you can't do it now. You're going to open up the Zoom app. If you're prompted to sign in, then use the same user ID and password that you have with this that you just showed me. Okay.
Okay.
If your picture appears, ta-da! Problem solved, right? If not, then go to your preferences, select your profile, and then upload your picture again.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. I just thought going through the institution, it's an app. I just assumed that, but I'll go double check again.
Some institutions, they want to go everything through the web interface. Some institutions don't care, and some make you install.
Okay.
So that's why I'm giving different directions for different things. It's just that I don't know what you got.
I know. I know. I got it.
Okay, Kathy, you had a question, and then Paul, we're going to let you.
No, I can follow up with Molly. I'm not understanding completely what it is that she did to have the picture show, but I can follow up with her later.
Okay. All right. Paul, are you still here?
I'm here.
Okay. You want to share?
Okay, ready to share.
Okay, ready to share. And then we have Delta Sierra Adult Education Alliance. Yeah.
This is my second desktop, so it's just the desktop share.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I saw your little docking station come up, so that tells me that you've got the screen being shared. That's cool. Your battery's really low, dude. You might want to plug in. That's actually it. I'm gonna segue. Make sure your devices are plugged in or at 100% before you start presenting, please. Don't come in with a laptop that's at 20%. Shame on you if you do that. Okay. Okay. The video controls, do you see those still, Paul, on whichever screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and select the More button. Now, did you hit share computer sound before you shared? And if you didn't, it's okay, because you'll see that option in the More button.
Yeah, I see chat, hide video panel, floating media controls, optimize screen share for video clips.
Okay, and we see your mouse moving as you're reading down the list, but we don't see it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Go. Do you have any questions?
I did on so can you clarify or go over the Q&A versus the chat and then also polls? Sorry, it's a lot at once, but I was just unclear if so basically everyone has to be a co-presenter to participate in Q&A. Is that right?
Does everybody have to be a co-presenter to? Okay. Attendees can ask questions. Presenters and co-presenters cannot. So only attendees can ask questions and type something in the Q&A. Anybody can type in the chat. All right, so that's one difference. Who can answer the Q&A? Presenters and co-presenters only, along with the tech host. Now, if you're talking about something and I see a question that comes up, it says, hey, Paul, what's your school mascot? That has nothing to do with the presentation. I'm going to dismiss it. Okay, as the tech host, it has nothing to do with presentation. I'm getting rid of it. Or if you, if somebody asks, hey, what was that link that Paul just described or talked to us about? I will put that in for you, so you don't have to worry about it, right? If you start something about or start talking about something like pedagogy and andragogy and somebody asks a question about that, I'm not answering that one. That's not mine. Okay, so that's a discussion you need to have with your tech host. Whether or not you want the questions read, whether or not you're going to even be looking at it, you don't have to open it up. You don't have to answer questions. Okay, you can just.
Do we? I'm sorry. Do we get to find out who our tech host is ahead of time? Okay, I just wanted to go like, hey, if I do this, please cut me off.
It's going to be a surprise. Okay.
Nice.
So we kind of like narrate our kind of the way we want to do it, sort of as we get the presentation going. Like, hey, tech host,
yes.
we got this, or help me out.
What I do, because I like to have interaction with people, I will have the Q&A open. I'll be looking at it while I'm presenting because, you know, I'm looking at it at the corner of my eye and I say, hey, Marjorie, okay, hey, Marjorie, you got a question here. How large is your school? My school is 5,000 people, you know, and the tech host will hear that and they'll see that they hear that I've answered it. So they will mark it as answered. Okay, then I don't see that question anymore. So I have my tech hosts trained to do that so that as I'm answering or as I'm looking at the Q&A, I'll see questions disappear, right? Because I've answered them already or because they didn't relate to the presentation. So that's how I have my tech hosts trained. There are some people that don't want to use the Q&A. They're not used to it. They're used to meetings. They use the chat. That's fine. You can use the chat. The chat is going to get very busy if you have a lot of people. So it doesn't move. The Q&A doesn't move as fast as the chat. So it's just your preference. Polls. You ask a question. How many people do you have attending your school? And then you're going to have to give us some answers. 0 to 500, 500 or 501 to 1,000, you know, and like that. And those are their choices that are given to them. Or I really like working online better than I like working at school. True or false, right? So you give us the question and what selections you want for that question. And then we, as the tech host, we can open up those polls when you direct us, when we hear, and now we're going to have a poll on, you know, fill in on your size, your school size. So the tech host will hear that. They'll have the poll ready. They'll open it up for you. Everybody will start answering. Then we'll share it to everybody so you can see the answers, and then we'll close it. If you have 2 polls, we'll wait for our queue until we hear that you want your second poll open. We'll open it. Same process. Make sense?
Yeah, that's great. I just don't know if I missed it. Did you send for pre-populating the polls? Are there directions?
You have to enter that. Veronica spoke to that earlier. There's a form to fill out with all that information. I'm pretty sure I just saw her come on video, so she'll redress that.
Okay.
Yes. So for Paul and everyone else, the link to complete the Google poll, the Google form to let us know this information was sent to all lead presenters. So if you are not a lead presenter, then check with your lead presenters because they have all that information.
So what you just said is I didn't understand what you just said, Veronica. Could you please repeat that?
So in your schedule, so in the communication we included for the schedule and everything, you were sent, there was a link in there that asked you to fill out a Google form to let us know the structure of your session, you know, just a brief overview, if you were going to be using the Q&A feature, the chat, polls, etc. And then a follow-up questions were, you know, would you like assistance from your tech host using these features.
And that
So
was
there's
something that was sent today, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Check your emails.
You're welcome.
Crystal?
I got this problem in
Oh.
that, I know, big problem. I moved jobs. So when I applied as the primary person for this, I was working at another location. And not only did I do that, but when I tried to go change my email address, I made a mistake and put .edu instead of a .net. So I need to fix this because I have none of that, the email that you're talking about.
Okay, so what you would do is just send us the correct information. So email us at TAP at caladulted.org, and we'll put it in the chat. So just email us the updated information, and we'll go ahead and update your contact.
Thank your team too, because they somehow caught that my email address was wrong and got me it in time for this today.
Yes, I was just going to say, I think we have it because I emailed you this morning when it bounced back. Now that's just in our registration system. So the emails that will be, anything from the summit will come out differently based on what you inputted there. So I can check that too and make sure that it's not wrong there as well.
So much. And then is there a way to push me whatever, you know, was sent out today for our group? Because I didn't get that.
Yes. Yes, I think we can. Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No, you only get the information once. Forget about it.
You're awesome.
Yeah, we want your presentations to be successful, not only on the TAP, you know, the presentation side, but also on the tech side. So that's why we've got this going. So if you have any questions, use that email. The TAP team will answer. All right, because again, we want you to be successful. So let us know. I think everybody's shared. I think we've gotten all the questions answered. If you have questions, you're going to think of something. As soon as we end this meeting, you're going to think of something. Go ahead and send an email. At this point, Veronica, I'm going to mute and.
All right. Well, thank you, Melinda, and the rest of the TAP team, as well as you all, our presenters for the summit. Thank you for participating this afternoon. As we mentioned, if anything comes up or you have additional questions, definitely feel free to reach out and we will provide assistance. If there is a need to hop on Zoom for further practice or clarification on features, etc., let us know and we can arrange that as well. You will be hearing from us with additional details and information as we prepare for the opening of the summit. But again, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. And we appreciate you all for signing up to be presenters, because without your presentations, we wouldn't have a summit. So very, very grateful for that. So I don't have anything else. If there are any additional questions, definitely let us know at this time. If not, we'll go ahead and end the meeting.
I do have a quick question for Melinda, if she's still there, or actually maybe Veronica can answer it. There's for webinars, guests cannot use the emoticons, right? Is that correct? Like the thumbs up or the happy face or the sad face? Or
there are none. No, there are no. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you request it, your tech host will allow the raise hand option. There's a raise hand, but then you have to have the attendees box open in order to see that. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, you can activate the raise hand function.
We can, yeah, the raise hand is only viewable within the attendees list. There are no response emoticons. So no, none of this. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Kathy?
Yeah. So I know that we can't use breakout rooms. I just learned that from one of the other people who are presenting. Have there been ways that people have talked about that they're making it more interactive then if we can't have the breakout rooms?
You know, there's a lot of different ways you can make it interactive. You could actually, here, I'll show you. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to perhaps open a form and have everybody type in information in a form. Or I could go to something that I've used is jamboard.google.com, and I'll have this created before I present. But what I've done, here's one from Fresno. is I get the shareable link. Any minute now. There we go. All right, so I've shared this. I get the link for it. I will copy it and then open up the chat. And I paste it in the chat. And then I tell everybody, okay, everyone, I want you to go to, this Jamboard, and we can have a little interaction going on. You can, and I show them how to use it. So that's another way. Go ahead. Who was talking?
I'm so sorry. It's Anne, the one who dropped the pan. That runs. Just real quick, Kathy. We did a water project thing over the summer, and one really useful thing they had us do was they literally were like, okay, now get a piece of paper from somewhere, fold it in a quarter, get an orange marker, get a center marker. And it really helps so much to get us in the spirit of things. I'm having my students through Zoom do that right now. So for example, you could have folks be like, okay, so I want you guys, instead of just doing it in forms, you can do it in forms too, would be like, okay, please get a piece of paper, fold it in half, now fold it in half again. At the top left corner, I want you to, put a little star and then write the following word or whatever comes to mind. So you can always use realia as long as it's reasonable, not like now go and, get I don't know, get your pet or something like that and show it to the camera. So Kathy, we could always do something like that as well. That worked really well in the summer.
Okay, great. Thanks.
So it sounds like you guys are co-presenters. You can figure all this out beforehand, and practice.
We will do.
Zoom has free meetings if you're not already on a Zoom instance. So have a meeting with yourself and practice it. See how it's going to work with each other. Yeah.
Be prepared to present, Anne, to the group. But yeah,
we're gonna do it together. We're gonna knock it out of the park.
All right, I'm sure we will.
Okay. I got nothing. Bye.
Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Monica.
You're welcome. Thank you all. And yes, definitely feel free to reach out and we will be in touch with further information. All right. Well, everyone, thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you. Likewise. Bye-bye.
And then there were three.
I think we are all good. This was our last one. So, yay.
So next week, we're doing the OTAN staff and you three?
Renee will be joining us as well.
Renee, okay. Okay.
All right. Yeah, so I'll work with you to get that together early next week.
Okay.
Just send you some emails and everything so we can kind of put that together. But yeah.
Sounds good.
Then I think we'll be well on our way.
I'm glad this is the last one.
I know. I realized as we were going through them how much time out of our day it takes. So definitely a lesson learned for next year. Kind of spacing them out a little bit. But yeah.
Well, officially, this is only taking me an hour a pop. So just letting you know as I eat my lunch. Okay.
Right. You have anything else, Holly?
No, I'm good. I just emailed you that lady's name. She is the lead presenter, but she registered with a different address than even what we had in our registration system. So
okay, we'll get that.
I just emailed it to you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.